Hey guys, so I was meant to do this like yesterday, but I got a bit caught up. Now, Skyblivion is a massive modding project. It is a bit like Beyond Skyrim, but instead of adding Cyrodiil and but Beyond Skyrim is a bit bigger. I would definitely say that in terms of what they've got to do. But Skyblivion is it's trying to remake Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, but of course with a grander sort of idea of what Oblivion could have been, like certain content, stuff like that. So it's not gonna just be Oblivion. It's gonna be Oblivion more immersive. You know, like certain places when you go to the south, like you did in Oblivion, it was very snowy because it was reaching onto the Skyrim border. Same thing with Leowin. It's gonna be more swampy for the Black Marsh sort of area. So this is a project that's been in the works for a very long time. Started off as a side project, and this is their latest development diary. And I love their stuff, man, because I swear to God, once this mod comes out, I'm dropping Skyrim. I don't care how far I'm in the story, I'm dropping Skyrim, I'm going back. Because Oblivion was my favourite game. My first Elder Scrolls game. It wasn't my first Bethesda game, it was Fallout 3, but whew, Oblivion opened up the fantasy world for me.
For the past few years, our team has been chipping away at a seemingly impossible feat: to remake the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion in the latest Elder Scrolls engine. While we are still a ways out, we hope that this series will show you how far one of the most ambitious modding projects of our generation has come, and where we are headed. Welcome to the making of Skyblivion. Since our last development diary, we have made a great deal of progress, which we are excited to share with you all today. Most notable updates for this period are the reconstruction of the city of Bruma, new goblin tribes, clothing for the citizens of Cyrodiil, unique weapons, Daedric artifacts, and much, much more. While progress has been steady, we are always on the lookout for more volunteers to help us finish the project and get it into your hands as soon as possible, especially if you have modding experience or 3D knowledge, but also any of the other skills listed on our website at www.skyblivion.com. To kick things off, we highlight a group of green, almost human-like creatures, goblins. These highly aggressive critters are considered good sport for the keen hunter, but be warned. Though they range between the size of a small child and a fully grown Bosmer, what they lack in height and intelligence, they make up for in strength in numbers. These feral creatures reside throughout the homeland of the Imperials, often huddled together in dank caves and abandoned ruins. With their limited intelligence, goblins are not known for their resourcefulness, but they have at least recognized civilized areas are a treasure trove of food, weapons, and tools. Goblin raids are therefore a genuine concern for residents of smaller settlements, away from well-defended cities and strongholds. It's no wonder goblins are so widely despised across Cyrodiil and regarded as pests, akin to rats and slaughterfish. Indeed, goblins often group together to form tribes, with a hierarchy of sorts. Generally, goblin tribes are headed by a shaman that is revered by the rest of the group and functions as a spiritual leader. Beneath the shaman are various goblins that take on certain roles within the tribe. Warlords, for example, are the most skilled in battle and typically lead the charge in armed conflict. Other notable roles are skirmishers, berserkers, and even chefs. That's right, even goblins need someone in charge of serving up the grub. Nothing worth trying out, mind you, unless you have a taste for rats and fish. Throughout Cyrodiil, it is thought there are at least 7 tribes of goblins that can be identified by their tattoos and skin tone. The Bitterfish clan, based in the ruins of Miskarkand. The Bloody Hand tribe, based in Cracked-Wood Cave. The Dust Eater clan, based in Barren Mine. The Rock Biter clan, based in Timberscar Hollow. The Sharp Tooth clan, based in Derelict Mine. The Skullbreaker clan, based in Wenderbeck Cave. The Three Feather clan, based in Plundered Mine. And lastly, the aptly named White Skin clan, based in Goblin Jim's Cave. While these clans belong to the same species, they can be found waging war against one another, the exact reason for which is not clear, but what is that goblins are willing to fight to the death to assert their supremacy and eradicate rival clans. Recreating 3D assets is a significant element of the Skyblivion project. In order to give you the fully realized remake Oblivion deserves, we are remaking all 3D assets, such as plants, cutlery, chairs, bookcases, potions, weapons, clothes, armors, creatures, and buildings. While we have a clear vision for these assets and how they will appear, it has always been a struggle to find 3D artists to help us realize this enormous task. Swords and plants, for example, require quite different skill sets, which means not every 3D artist on our team is able to work in the areas where we need the most assistance. What we have achieved so far, however, is beyond incredible, and we are proud to announce that the majority of the 3D assets on our to-do list have been completed. Architecture is perhaps the greatest challenge we have faced during Skyblivion's development cycle. Indeed, the city of Leowin alone has 111 separate pieces. In that number are entire buildings, but also interior kits and smaller bits and bobs, like doors and quest-related pieces, such as pipes and boilers connected to the Fighters Guild that have been tapping into the power of the Hist, a species of trees that grant much power to those who drink its sap. A lot of time, and more importantly, people, are needed to recreate those hundreds of pieces for every city. While work is complete on such sets as the Ayleid ruins, lower-class houses, farms, forts, and, with the help of our friends at Beyond Skyrim, cities like Skingrad, Bruma and Bravel, there is still much left to do. Currently, we are chipping away at the city of Leowin and the famous Imperial City. If you have the skill to help us with the last leg of Skyblivion's architecture development, we would warmly welcome you into our ranks.
Cyrodiil's just beautiful.
An essential distinction between Oblivion and Skyrim is the people themselves. Unlike Skyrim's hairy, towering Nords, who seem just as comfortable in armor as clothes, Cyrodiil is inhabited by a more cultured population. While the clean, and mostly clean-shaven faces of Cyrodiil help to create an important contrast from Skyrim's more rugged counterparts, it's the clothes that really make the difference. We pride ourselves in the recreation of the distinctive attires of Cyrodiil. When wandering the streets of the Imperial City or Skingrad, you may behold the upper classes flaunting their colourful suits and dresses. But if you find all that colour a bit too nauseating, we also offer more modest garments. There is something for everyone here. It's just a matter of finding the right trader or donor. One of the great draws of the Elder Scrolls series has always been the hunt for artifacts and unique weapons. Skyblivion will not only reimagine them, but also overhaul how artifacts work. Daedric artifacts are weapons quite literally forged by the gods. It is only fitting that they should be elevated above the mundane smithery of men and mer. When recreating unique weapons, we first unleash our concept department on the original Oblivion weapon, in order to conceive of a design that better fits its name or origin. A good example is the legendary sword by the name of Umbra. You will be tasked by none other than Clavicus Vile, Daedric prince of trickery and bargains, to relieve its current owner of the burden that is Umbra. You may find, however, that once the sword is in your possession, it will be hard to part with, as its whispers pursue you to wield it in its name. The new and improved artifact will glow as it consumes the souls of those who perish in its vicinity, and not only those by your hand. Should the temptations of this dark power not sway you, however, you may return the blade to the Daedric Prince as instructed, and in kind receive the mask of Clavicus Vile. For those who prefer blunt brute force, Volendrung has to be a fan favourite. This mighty warhammer once belonged to a clan of Dwemer, and has since mysteriously came into the ownership of Malakath, god of curses, who offers it to you in return for a bloody favour. If fulfilling the scheme of a Daedric prince does not deter you, then a mighty hammer that can quite literally shake the earth at your will shall be yours, until it decides to vanish, as Daedric artifacts are known to do. Moving on to another fan favourite, we have Goldbrand. This splendid golden katana is one of the most powerful weapons a mortal could ever wield, granted by none other than the Prince of Treachery, Boethia. Granted in this case, however, requires murdering 9 other chosen of Boethia in bloody tournament combat. You will find the blade is not only blessed with an unrivaled cutting edge, but also a magical enchantment that scorches your enemies when crossing blades, as well as from afar. If you'd rather not make deals with Daedric princes, we have plenty of unique weapons that can be obtained as quest rewards, from scavenger hunts, or even with your hard-earned coin. Our current...
Yeah, go back a little bit, look at that sword. This one right here, this looks a bit like a katana, but look how gorgeous that looks. That hammer looks very dwarven. Whew! Dude, it's gonna have some real nice shit, man. Like, it's gonna, like, in Skyrim you can need uniques and other mods, of course, to make scavenging and adventuring fun, you know, rewarding. But oh my goodness!
With your hard-earned coin, our current favourite has to be the Bow of Infernal Frost. In the steady hands of a skilled marksman, this weapon is a force to be reckoned with, and best of all, the arrows melt away in time. A perfect weapon for the discerning assassin, which is why you can only obtain it via membership of the Dark Brotherhood. While we have many more fascinating unique weapons and artifacts, I think it would be best not to spoil you and let you uncover them for yourself. Bruma. This northern city blanketed in snow is home to a thriving Nord population and has been for centuries. This is no surprise, as Bruma is situated near the Skyrim border. This race of hardy humans are known for their resistance to cold, just as well with the harsh climate of Bruma and the Gerald Mountains beyond. The Nord influence extends beyond the population of Bruma. When entering the city, you will be greeted by none other than Tiber Septim, better known to the Nords as Talos. This man-turned-god is viewed as the embodiment of Skyrim, and therefore plays a vital role in Nord culture, heritage, and tradition. In fact, the Great Chapel of Bruma is dedicated to Talos. Many Nords leave offerings at the shrine of Talos as a mark of reverence. While Talos receives the lion's share of worship, the remaining 8 divines are also represented within these sacred walls, and they too are acknowledged by most Nords. While Bruma may not seem like the ideal travel destination, those who brave the frigid trip up the Gerald Mountains can expect open Nord hospitality and many places of interest. A warm and cozy inn is just the relief required after a long and cold trip. For those whose coin purse overfloweth, nothing beats the Gerald View Inn. Sanitary patrons, good food, as much high-quality mead as you can drink, and a warm bed. For the traveller on a budget, Olav's Tap and Tack is a satisfactory alternative. While the patrons may look a bit rough, we assure you they are harmless and even merry, as long as the mead keeps flowing. Besides mead making, Nords are also known for their smithing. Bruma has the luxury of 2 master blacksmiths who specialize in weapons and armor. For those seeking something sharp, you can't go wrong with a hammer and axe. If you need strong, well-fitting armor, then look no further than Nord Winds. Both shops offer a wide range of well-crafted items to suit a range of requirements. If your heart yearns for adventure, then be sure to stop by the local Fighters Guild. They are always looking for able-bodied, keen-spirited souls. Should the arcane pique your interest, then the nearby Mages Guild has exactly what you are after. If you are feeling charitable, you can pay the lower class district of Bruma a visit. While far from welcoming, the residents mostly keep to themselves and do not pose a threat to visitors. From the lowliest part of town, we can turn our eyes to the loftiest, Castle Bruma. This fortified structure houses the Honourable Countess, Nerina Carvane. While there is more to Bruma than discussed here, we shall leave that for you to explore yourselves when the time comes. Be warned, however, while Bruma is seemingly peaceful, there are hidden dangers brewing that are sure to reveal themselves sooner or later. Keep your wits about you. What started out as a simple side project has evolved into one of the biggest modding projects to date. Despite the massive scope of this project, we are finally seeing the end of the road, but there is still work to be done. We hope this video has given you a better insight into the project, and perhaps has shown how some of you might be able to contribute yourselves. Only with the Elder Scrolls modding community's talents, and the support of this fantastic community, could we have ever gotten as far as we have. We hope you continue to support us as you have for years, and we are excited to share much more. For our next Dev Diary, we would love to hear what kind of topics you want us to talk about. Be sure to let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next
video. I haven't got anything to really talk about, eh? Like, I'm just happy that it's coming out, man, because like Skyrim is a beautiful game. It's just it's you know it's old for us because a lot of us have been playing it for a good 10+ years, and even I've always found myself going back to Oblivion, but just for like, a couple of weeks before everything starts looking like a fucking potato. I don't know, man. I really liked Oblivion. It was a very beautiful game, especially for a 12-year-old. It was amazing. It was open. It was, you could drop an item out of your inventory and put it on a table. That for me was groundbreaking. You'd pick up a body and throw it off the cliff. It felt scary, man. Like, in Skyrim, you've got the dragon threat, right? And they're very boring. As in, they just randomly rock up to a town. A few civilians with clothing and an iron dagger will go and attack such an ancient, gigantic fucking beast, which is just stupid, like dumb AI. And yeah, they're just more of annoying. Just big flying fuck-offs. Where in Oblivion, the more you did, like, the more kind of scary it got. So, for example, the further you went into the story, people would try to kill you. So, when I first started Oblivion, I didn't touch the quest for like fucking months. Here I am before, I had no idea how to do it. So I just walked around Cyrodiil doing minor quests and stuff like that, and I met a lot of people. And then eventually I started doing the quest months later, and I had random people go all Daedric Assassin on me, transformed as cool as fuck looking Daedric armor, and try and neck me. And I was like, awesome, man. And one of my favourite people that tried to do that, even at the age of 14, which was hilarious, was the Anvil Docks innkeeper. Well, she was like a sailor. It was an inn for sailors. And she goes, sorry, but only seamen are allowed in these beds, and that cracked me up, man. It was hysterical, it put me on the floor. And then I go in there to hear that line one more time, and then she goes full, for Muram's dagger. I'm like, well, what the fuck, bro? You're meant to be funny. And then she tried to kill me. So that was, it was, you didn't know who was going to turn Daedric Assassin on you. I'm pretty sure she was, but there's a chick she was a Nord in, I don't know where it is. It's right beside the church where you got the little church where you could deliver the Emblem of Kings. I think it's Coral, and she's called someone God Hater, and it's just kind of, I was always kind of expecting her to turn. I'm pretty sure she is. I'm not too sure, but I always thought she would have been because she was a God Hater. And there's this one moment, actually like full on gave him the spooks, and it was I was travelling through, I don't know what part it was, I think it might have been around the Knights of the Nine sort of temple, but but I was out there exploring. There was this old abandoned house out in the middle of the woods, and I go in there. It's got cobwebs. It's got boxes. It would just look like someone was planning to move. They'd packed up all their shit and they're ready to leave, and something happened, and the place just got left abandoned. And I was in there. I was just searching shit. It was just another boring place to go. And I left and I turned around and the house is destroyed and there's an Oblivion gate where the house was. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was like scary shit, man. One of my first homes in Oblivion wasn't actually a player home. It was this cottage behind Kvatch. And I went there and had like a little farm, a little stable, and there was no owner. And I was like, I'm keeping this place, man. No one's here, I'm keeping it. And eventually, like, I think 6 months later, I actually went and did the quest and found the guy. He was killed by like a storm astronaut or something like that in a cave. And man, I had that place as my home. It was a fully functional farm with actual like food and produce, and then stables, and then a house. And I was like, bro, this shit's all mine. Oblivion was an absolute beautiful game. The Daedric threat felt real, felt menacing, felt like the more you did, the more gates opened. The more random people tried to kill you. Where in Skyrim, it doesn't really matter. Dragons pose no real threat apart from making the entire city a ghost town because every idiot with an iron dagger and a piece of cloth decides they want to fight it. I think Skyrim would have been 10 times better if they had like a sort of a dragon cult that was resurfaced, because maybe it was a moth priest that read this and knew what was happening and kind of worshipped the dragons more than they did their duties as a moth priest. But whatever. And this is probably nostalgia, but I truly believe that Oblivion was a 5 times better game than Skyrim was. Fuck, you could make spells. That shit was awesome. It was just so much better in terms of story, of consequence, of a living world. But yeah, I play Skyrim because I can mod it and I want to build a grand story. But when this comes out, which I'd give it a year or two, because they said they're at the end of the road. They've still got a lot to do, man. They've got to double check shit. They've got to do all the quests. They've got to. There's a lot of quests, and there's a lot of things. There's 50 things in the background you've got to do for those individual quests and their stages and their steps. It's like I said, they're looking at the end of the road, but end of the road could still be another 200 kilometers off. So I'd give it a while. Don't get your hopes up. Like it's going to come out at the end of this year or next year. It could be 2 more years away. But regardless, it's probably going to come out before Elder Scrolls 6 anyway. And even if it does, man, I'm 100% Elder Scrolls 6 will come out. It'll take them a month or two, probably 6 months like Fallout 3 to actually add modding tools. With the modding work of Skyrim Special Edition, it's going to be 10 times ahead of whatever Elder Scrolls 6 has to offer. But yeah. Anyway, good work, Rebs and the team behind Skyblivion, and of course, like they said, they are trading assets and helping each other out with things like Beyond Skyrim, which is another project which is looking to make all of Tamriel, or most of Tamriel, in the 4th era during the Dragonborn's time. Anyway, good work, guys. Keep up the modding. Keep it up. Modding's meant to be an art. It's meant to be a passion. It's not meant to be a chore. So I hope you guys are doing good, and I'd like to thank you guys for all watching. If you want to subscribe. I'm not really big on the whole subscribe, like, all that sort of crap. Hit the fucking bell. I don't give a shit. I just do this for a bit of fun or something to do. Anyway, peace out, guys. Have a good one.